Well, hello. Something very strange happened this morning when I was taking my granddaughter to school. I felt terribly sick and was sick, and I finally got about 3 hours of sleep, and I've got to go pick up my grandkids, all three of them, this afternoon at 3 different times. But I'm going to try to make this video first. I'm feeling a little bit better than I was this morning, which is a good thing. The title for the video for October 20th is Finding the Bridge Out of the Money System. I've been hearing about the RV for years. People have been saying it is imminent for a decade or more, yet there is no discernible criteria to indicate it is even true. Oh, it would certainly be a godsend to bless visionaries who want a world that works for the good of humanity with enough funds to actually make a difference. Nevertheless, the evil cabal still seems to be in control. The mainstream media continues its lies. When will we finally be able to experience truth that actually sets us free? Some say it's when we die. That is nonsense to me. Will the kingdom of heaven on earth be a cashless society? Eventually it might be, but I doubt we can be there anytime soon. It will require a transformation of our consciousness. Perhaps when that happens, we will be able to see the bridge and wonder why we could not see it sooner. For me, I don't care if there is money or not. As long as we have leaders who want to eliminate poverty everywhere and empower all people to achieve our divine destiny. Indeed, it has been a long time that I've been working at this. I mean, since I was still a boy, I have had a vision of a better world. And as I got older, I discovered that the world that I'm in is not the world I thought it was. I was seeing through very idealistic eyes as a young man, as a teenager, as a young man, and really through most of my life up until earlier this year when they took my house. That sort of knocked a lot of the idealism out of me, and I became more skeptical. However, I realized that many of my friends are still convinced that the RV is going to happen. They haven't lost faith. And I have days and times that I don't lose faith either, that I have a buildup of my faith. But then I watched a video yesterday, I don't remember who the man was, it doesn't matter. And he was speaking authoritatively that there is not going to be an RV, it's not going to happen. And basically painting a very ominous picture of the world, that the world is going to get worse and worse and worse. And I don't know if it was the same man, but somebody else said, well, we haven't even reached the tribulation yet. And it's going to be really bad during the tribulation. Now, if I bought into those pessimistic stories, I'd want to die. And there have been times when I did want to die. But really what I want is I want to live to actually see, to actually participate in the liberation of humanity. And we can't do that as long as liars are running the world. And if you haven't noticed lately, liars have been running the world. You don't have to look very far. If you live in the United States, you see Obama and you see the Clintons, you see the Bushes, you see these people that lie. And yet, I watched another video yesterday that showed how even up through Eisenhower, people were warning us about the military-industrial complex, even if they called it a different name. He called it the military-industrial complex. Were warning us about this system that has taken over, and the corporatization of the whole world, with rare exceptions. I think Russia is waking up. I think maybe Iran and some other countries are actually waking up. I thought Brazil was, but Brazil ended up putting another cabal leader in charge of that country. So I don't even think that they can be considered part of BRICS at this point in time, not as long as they have a leader that lies. And this is the problem. Our leaders lie. They do not tell us the truth. And being able to discern the truth is necessary if we are going to forge a pathway toward our own liberation, with the assistance, hopefully, of an angelic realm or an extraterrestrial realm, God actually keeping promises, I would see that as. And I long for that to happen. You all know that if you've been listening. And I'm with those of you that are still wanting that to happen. Many of us, and I think the number is increasing, are realizing and have realized for some time that something is terribly, terribly wrong. And the problem is leadership. There is no leadership that is empowered, and there is no populace that is enriched with the ability to actually fulfill transformation and to make us better people and enable us to achieve our destiny. And I believe it is a divine destiny. We were created not for evil, but for good. We were created to experience a life of choice, and to recognize by firsthand experience what good choices are and what bad choices are. And the only good choices are those where we are able to love one another. Those when we are able to realize that it is only truth that liberates us. As long as we live in lies, we're in bondage. Even if we are the ones that are telling the lies and seem to be in control, it is still a bondage. It is still a lie. It is still a deception, and it will never, ever achieve a good goal, an authentic, honest, legitimate goal of empowerment, not of an elite few, but of the many. Because we are all worthy of receiving God's grace, God's love, and goodness. We are all worthy of loving one another and of helping one another. That's the greatest fulfillment of all, to be able to help each other and lift each other up. And when somebody's down, you don't beat them down further, and you don't attack them. You do everything within your power to lift them up. Now, I don't know what can be done with those that seem to have a very clandestine intention, such as the ones that are visibly ruling the world, but even worse, the ones that we don't even know their names. Might not be Rockefeller or Rothschild. It might be a completely different name of the people that are actually in charge, and it's probably somewhere in Europe that this is true. And hopefully the Chinese elders might, at least some of them, might be providing a legitimate, honest way out by actually releasing the RV, the revaluation of the currency, making some of these third world country currencies viable currencies that have actual value based on human resources that are existent now in the present world. And I believe that what is present now in the real world is going to change as we change. It will rise with our consciousness, but our consciousness has to get out of the prison, and we've got to get out of the false money system, and we've got to understand, even if we have a medium of exchange, that that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is who we are, and that we become the very best that we can be. That's my goal. That's my interest. That's my focus. Thank you for listening again. Namaste.